truth seekers. Welcome back. Zach here. It's March 15th, 2017. This is going to be my last video unless something major happens until I finish my book. I'm getting close to my deadline. I got to finish this project. It's a very important project. I've gotten behind again because I've been making so many videos, and honestly, the reason I do this to myself is because every time I start to write the book, I learn more and more, and I connect the dots further, and then it makes it that much easier for me to teach this in an effective manner, or teach this in an effective manner. And, the videos I've put out in the last 4 days, those are probably, some of the best videos I ever made, and I have thousands of videos, because some things have just really lined up in the last few days. Dots I haven't been able to connect the 3+ years I've been doing this work, writing this book. So it's all coming together. The book, it's going to be... Last year, it was so good. What I'd already written was almost ready to release, and then I decided I wanted to take it a step further. It's a year later, and it's worth it. Patience, hard work. I'm telling you. Those are the age-old tricks that always work. Don't rush your project. Make it take the time it needs to. But anyway, just doing it this way, this is my creative process. And by teaching it to you through the videos, it helps me formulate it in the book. So anyway, I need to finish the book. There's so much information I can't put in the book that I want to put there, but don't worry because, I'll put, after I put out this initial book, if it's successful, if it has an audience, there's a bunch of information in other books I can write right after it with all the stuff that's left out right now. Because I want the first book to be around 200 pages, quick, compact read. People don't read a lot. I don't want it to be overwhelming. But I just want people to just keep wanting to go to the next page because each page is full of so much awesome information. So anyway, the book's going to be good. I got to finish it because I've been telling people now for a year I'm going to finish it. This is the first book I've ever written, so, it's a learning process for me, but it's almost there. So I gotta finish the book. This is gonna be the last video until I finish, unless something earth-shattering happens. For the last video, I want to give you what I'm looking at for the college tournament and what I've been talking about since even before last NCAA tournament. And if you pay attention to what I teach, you're going to figure out who the winner is. Understand this. I haven't watched a single college basketball game. I couldn't tell you the names of 5 players in all of college basketball right now, but just knowing what I know and what I've been documenting throughout the year, putting the pieces of the puzzle together, I think I have a good idea who might be there. So, let's do it. The video's up right now. Just real quick before we get into this, I put out this video yesterday on Snoop Dogg's video of shooting Donald Trump. It is being trolled heavily. It has 200 thumbs down, and it has all these people saying I'm a skinhead and in the Aryan Nation. You guys, I'm no skinhead. I'm just a starving, fasting, truth seeker, truth speaker. And to keep the energy bill low, I keep the heat low, and I just wear, a sweatshirt and a beanie. I'm in a cold part of the world, there's colder places, but I'm up here in Seattle, Washington. It's cold, it's wet, it's damp. So dress warm, save $100 a month on the energy bill. Anyway, people are so judgmental. Someone's down in the tropics look at me like, why is he dressed like that? Well, it's because I'm in a room that's, not half as comfortable as the room you're in. But anyway, if you want to go to this video and help me out here, people need to see this information. And that people in this day and age, they just go to a video that's popular and they read the comments to get an idea. You look at the first 20 comments. I'm a skinhead. I'm a racist. I'm an anti-Semite. No, I'm just telling you what's really going on in this world. There's anything about it other than the truth. Some people can't handle the truth. A lot of people have been programmed, which is what my work's about, deprogramming. So anyway, if you haven't seen this video, check it out. It's getting trolled heavy. There's a rumor that I'm a skinhead. Not at all. Not at all. So here's where we're going to begin with this year's men's tournament. We're going to go back to the UCLA campus shooting hoax of June 1st, 2016, right before the NBA finals started. And last year I was showing how the college basketball championship was connected to the NBA championship, just as I was showing the season before. Last year I showed how Villanova won the championship in accordance with Pope Francis, the Catholic Pope, leaving the United States on the Jesuit order's birthday. The Jesuits, the Masonic order within the Catholic Church. Pope Francis's departure was perfectly synced up with Villanova's championship win. We'll go over it. Villanova Catholic School. I'm going to show you UCLA's Catholic connection in the language of gematria and why they have a lot of alignment to be in this year's championship, facing a Catholic school from the other side, which could be Villanova, who they've played before in championship, 1971. This year, the tournament bracket was set on the 71st day of the year. Or the other Catholic Jesuit school on that side of the bracket that UCLA could face is Gonzaga in Washington State. So we're going to talk about that, but I want to go back to this shooting on the UCLA campus June 1st. When this shooting happened, it was obvious bullshit based on the witnesses they put out, the story. If you go back and watch my work, I showed the day of the shooting how it was a tribute to Minnesota, where the Los Angeles Lakers basketball team came from. And then days later, they connected the killer to Minnesota. And I said, see, people, I told you the story was connected to Minnesota. It was all about basketball. I said what the story was before it was even breaking news. And I've done that many times before on this channel because I'm exposing how fake the news is and how it's scripted and how it's synced up with professional sports, rigged elections, and more. Anyway, this was the day before the NBA Finals. And with regards to Los Angeles, where it happened in basketball, the Lakers have won 16 NBA championships. June 1st can be written 1/6. This was the day before the start of the NBA Finals. Also, UCLA, the most winningest basketball program in college basketball history in the era of the men's tournament. They have 11 championships. They'd be going for number 12 this year, a number of completion. They'd also be going for their 5th championship win since beating Villanova in 1971. And Villanova had just won the college championship. Go back and check out my work from a year ago on this. With regards to this being a shooting at UCLA, homicide, attempted homicide, in California, the homicide code is 187. And I want to talk about why 187 is very relevant this year in the men's tournament and what UCLA has to do with 187, as well as California shootings in history and 187. So we'll start right here. University of California, Los Angeles in gematria sums to 187. And this number is associated with the homicide code, but it's associated also with the Jesuit order. And last year's basketball championship was associated with the Jesuit order. Right now we have Donald Trump, a Jesuit president whose presidency has a lot to do with 187. So let me teach you real quick about 187, and then we'll do a history lesson on California with a very memorable shooting and 187. And just know it's only one of many. But look, Donald Trump this year, he had his GOP convention begin in Ohio State in Cleveland on July 18th, a date that can be written 18/7, exactly 187 days before Inauguration Day, when he would become president in Washington, D.C. And notice Washington, D.C. 187, George Washington 187. Donald Trump was in Rockefeller Plaza with the company of the Rockefeller family the night of his selection, the election, November 8th. The Jesuit order's full name is the Society of Jesus, which has gematria of 187. Donald Trump's a Jesuit. The Pope is the first Jesuit Pope publicly. He was synced up with the championship last year. Trump's convention was in Ohio, which has a gematria of 187 in the satanic gematria format. Very interesting format. Time in satanic gematria is also 187. So could this be UCLA's time It was 45 years ago when this season began, 1971, that UCLA and Villanova faced each other in the championship. UCLA won. Trump's the 45th president. Do you think this 187 is a coincidence? The last Republican president was George W., as in George Washington. It's really George Walker, but George W., obvious tribute to George Washington in Washington, D.C. George W. Bush was born July 6th, the 187th day of the year. George Washington died at age 67. 6/7 is July 6th, as written in most parts of the world. Anyway, when this shooting happened last year at UCLA, one of the first witnesses they had was this guy named Teddy Maddox. I mean, just look at the spelling of that name. Who has a name like that? Teddy Maddox. Well, it sums to 45, just like how it had been 45 years since 1971 when this championship happened. 45 was a big number on the NBA Finals last year, as I talked about too. Connects to the word Holy Bible. King James, who has a Bible named after him, a Holy Bible. LeBron James won the NBA Finals on the real King James's birthday. LeBron James went to Catholic high school. Curry, Catholic college, Catholic high school. Jesuit high schools dominate the ranks of NBA basketball players. This Teddy Maddox, 135, this is also a number connected to the establishment of Philadelphia in the Bible. And Villanova, just outside of Philadelphia. The Pope departed through Philadelphia on the Jesuit order's birthday. We'll get to it. Just letting you know, all of this stuff's interrelated. Go back and check out last year's video. But look at this. The other witness they get is named Jason Law in L.A. Jason L.A., 33 years old. NBA Finals in Gematria sums to 33. It's all a joke, Truth Seeker. But anyway, this was propaganda news. They were putting the 666 shot in the news, which is another number connected to NBA Finals. Just show you this real quick. You need the Sumerian format, which is every letter in alphabetic order multiplied by 6. If you write out the NBA Finals, the title, Gematria of 666. Len Bias died by the number 213. See my work on the death of Len Bias in last year's NBA Finals. I could do you a lesson on 213 right now, but we'll save it for another video. There's so much I want to tell you. It's all going to be in the book, Truth Seeker, that's coming out. But go back and check out just what I put out on Len Bias last year. Death of Tupac Shakur. 213. There's always death rituals around these championships when you know how to recognize the language of Gematria. Your celebrities that drop dead out of nowhere connected. You know, Bill Paxton before the Oscars this year at age 61. By the numbers. Check my workout on that. Cover a lot of topics here. But anyway, this UCLA shooting last year pointed to basketball and championships. And now UCLA is a front runner to be in the championship. A lot lines up from them beyond just what I'm going to show you in this video. But take this knowledge, apply it to the other teams. Like I said, I haven't watched anything, so I don't know it all, but I'm going to show you real quick now why there is a strong narrative for UCLA to win this year. But first, a little more 187 knowledge. Ray Kroc died in San Diego, California, January 14th, 1984. I have a video on this with way more information. Check that out. But I'm just going to teach you about 187 right here. In 1984, there was the San Ysidro Massacre. This was the worst shooting massacre in the history of the country up to this point. Happened in California at a McDonald's on July 18th, 18/7. Check this out. From the date Ray Kroc died, January 14th, to July 18th, if we can get the date calculator to load here. Bear with me, Truth Seeker. We'll close the window. Too many things going on. From July 18th, 1984, to the day Ray Kroc died earlier in the year, January 14th, 1984, Can't remember if this is 187 days later. So it's a span of 187 days in this regard, which means that counting the day he died to the day of the shooting is 187 days. If you don't check the box, it's saying 186 days after. But these deaths came 187 days apart. The homicide code in California is 187. It is in some other states as well. 187 is a significant number, as we just talked about, to the Jesuit order, which is the Masonic order within the Catholic Church. We showed how 187 was connected to George Washington, who was a Freemason. So it's not hard to see where this code is coming from. And the 3 years I've been doing this, I've been showing how the words time and kill are connected to each other. And now we find out 187 is also connected to time, and we know it's connected to killing. But look at this. We're not even done yet with McDonald's. That was the founder of McDonald's. McDonald's headquarters is in Oak Brook, Illinois, 187, just right outside, Chicago, Illinois, the McDonald's headquarters. And 2 years ago, 2 stories emerged out of nowhere about killings from a year earlier. The death of Ronald Johnson and Laquan McDonald in Chicago. Do you remember this? These news stories, they came out in October 2015, and they were stories from a year earlier, October 2014, just out of nowhere. Ronald Johnson, Laquan McDonald, there was 187 coding in those stories. The point is, Freemasonry, they're running a big puppet show. They're controlling the news, the information that gets out. It's meant to stir people up, give their mind something to buzz about, be distracted by, get angry over, get intimidated by. Freemasons believe in divide and conquer, order out of chaos. We get divisive media, divisive politics, divisive sports leagues. Go to some of these sports stadiums and see what these drunk fans do to each other. But check this out. We haven't even gotten to this year's men's tournament, but I'm making people who want the information earn it. So here's what you need to know. Last year, Villanova beat North Carolina 77-74. You might recall it was tied 74-74 with 4.0 seconds left. And the comments section on my video before the championship was going crazy because I said how big those numbers were going to be in the game. Jesus equals 74, cross equals 74, Messiah 74, gospel 74, the word Christians 47, the word Christianity is 74. This was the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit order tribute for the Catholic Church in this game. Look at this. From the day the Pope left the country, the Jesuit Pope, the Jesuits are known as the Society of Jesus. From that day until the date of the college championship, April 4th. See my work on the 33-day Pope who died on a date with 4-4 numerology. The word kill equals 44. Before Villanova went to the championship, they killed Kansas, winning by 44, a record, before winning on 4-4. But anyway, 191 days from the day the Pope left until the championship. Big Society of Jesus tribute, Villanova Catholic School. Real quick, I'll teach you something about 44, April 4th, and the Jesuit order. If you write out 44 in English ordinal, the alphabetic order, it sums to 144. If you write out April 4th in the alphabetic order, it sums to 144. And if you write out Jesuit order, it sums to 144. Big Jesuit order tribute here in the college championship last year. And then the final score was 77. Christ equals 77. Jesus equals 74. Jesus Christ. Right here. Villanova got their 57th championship. 57th tournament win all-time, winning the championship. Funny that they have 35 losses and it was their 35th win of the regular season. Catholic 35. To date, only one Catholic president, the 35th JFK. Remember the 71 too, because UCLA has that 71 connection. And this year they released the tournament bracket on the 71st day of the year. Catholic representation as always, as I've been saying. So this 57 number for their their championship, remember 57's all about championship. When you write out 57, it sums to 131. Just like when you write out championship, just like when you write out Super Bowl, when you write out World Series, it equals 57. When you write out NBA Finals, it equals 57. Remember the Cavs, they won 57 games in the regular season last year. The Cavs became the first team since 78 to win Game 7 on the road. Did you catch that? NBA Finals in Cleveland also has the 78 connection. This is how it's all scripted. This is the language sports are scripted in. It's all predetermined, executed with scripts, just like you're going to a theater performance, but instead of actors, you have athletic actors. You know, in a college basketball game, I think you have some players that are in on it and the refs controlling the game as well as the coaches. In the NBA, I think you have all the people who are in on it playing at the professional league. But yeah, there was just so much scripted into this. Also this year, Pope Francis, his birthday was 51 days before Super Bowl 51. He gave out this 51-second address for the Super Bowl. It was a huge Jesuit order tribute. The Falcons owner has the same birthday as the Jesuit order. Notice the Vatican, 119. Notice the 47 as well. First Super Bowl in the 47th season of the league. Christian 47, that special number. Falcons, 119. You know, they wear the colors of the Jesuits, red and black. They're on the 84th meridian. They've been in Super Bowls 33 and 51. Add it together, 84. Atlanta on the 84th meridian. The owner of the team has the Jesuit order's birthday. You know what I'm coming to understand? It does seem, you have to understand it's all one and the same. Freemasonry at its core is Jewish. The Catholic Church is Freemasonry and Jewish Zionism. At the core is Jewish Zionism of everything. But it seems that the Jewish Zionists have gotten their way with the world most effectively is through the Catholic Church, which exploits the Christians and others. So it does seem at the end of the day, if there's one branch of this whole Masonic Jewish Zionist wing, it is the Catholic Church, the Jesuits within. For a lot of people, that might come harsh, but that's what's going on in this world. And if you don't want to know the truth, I mean, this isn't the place for you. But it's all a show. Here's Atlanta on the 33rd parallel, the 84th meridian. They've now been in Super Bowls 33 and 51 only. Pope Francis has the 84 birth numerology and left the country on the Jesuit order's birthday. Let's get to this year's championship, and let's just look at this for 2017. I don't know how far we are into the video, but I try to make these educational lessons. My point is to teach you the knowledge so you can use it, apply it, have some relevance. I get so sad because in every video, you know, like I'll drop a 40-minute video and there'll be 50 questions asking me for things where I'm like, well, if they just watched the video, they wouldn't have to be asking me that. You know, I put all this time into it, and people don't respect it. You know, they just want to come and then get the answers quick without even watching. You got to invest time if you want to know. But here we go. The tournament came out March 12th, 12/3, the word conspiracy 123. That's the 71st day of the year. Catholic has gematria of 71, so does Gonzaga, so does UCLA. When this article was written, their front top picture was of Gonzaga. I gotta tell you, right after the Super Bowl, I saw ESPN put up a quick stat, and I was out, so I just saw it. But they put up Gonzaga 28-3. They were 28-3 at something, Gonzaga was. And I said, that's weird, because it was right after the Super Bowl. And remember, the Patriots had the record 28-3 comeback, 25-point comeback. I said why the Patriots would likely win it, and it was all about 25 way before it happened. Season 28, episode 3 of The Simpsons was about the Patriots and Tom Brady, the day Tom Brady came back from his suspension and got his 33-point win over Cleveland, the only city in the league that sums to 33 in the NFL. Simpson equals 33, like the name of the cartoon. The episode was called The Town, which equaled 33. Came out the day of Tom Brady's return and win over Cleveland, where Belichick began his career. It was exactly 119 days before the Super Bowl, that number 119. All-Seeing Eye 119, Star of David, Master Plan, Springfield 119. Also, in addition to that, the halftime performer Lady Gaga was born March 28th, 28/3, 28-3 comeback, all scripted, sports theater. Anyone with the brain saw that Atlanta threw the game at the end. They were in field goal range, 2-score game with no time left. What are they doing? Dropping back to pass, getting stupid holding calls, taking a huge sack. What a joke. Just run the ball, run out the clock, kick the field goal, game over. Gotta be a fool. Just like the scripted interception at the end of Super Bowl 49. 21st pass, intercepted by number 21 with 21 seconds left on February 1st, 2/1, plus a whole lot more. It's a joke. But check it out, Gonzaga. Gonzaga's got heavy Catholic, 3571, just like the word Catholic. Catholic Jesuit school in Washington State, the 42nd state. Freemason 42, named after George Washington, the Freemason. Notice Jesuits also 42 in reversed. Gonzaga's in the 42nd state. Big Freemason number. Freemason. Knowledge. History. We're talking about the Bible. It begins with the 42 generations leading up to Jesus in the New Testament. New Testament. The first printed Bibles, 42-line Bibles. Notice that 42 and 66. It all comes back to mathematics. Most Bibles, 66 books in length, ending with the 27th book of the New Testament. The New Testament concludes the 66th book of the Bible. The first of the New Testament is Matthew, 27 books in the New Testament. Could go on all day. So anyway, 71st day of the year, UCLA could play either Villanova or Gonzaga, and we would have this huge Catholic ritual. And just so you know, there's a lot of other coaches that have the Catholic connections. There could be a school I was overlooking. Last year I did this same thing. I didn't watch any college basketball. Real quick, an hour of gematria, maybe less. When I put this together, this initial thought on March 12th, I'd probably invested 30 minutes of time. Plus, I'd probably thought about it 30 minutes the 2 days prior. So maybe an hour of thought here, just like last year. And last year, real quick, I came up with a championship of North Carolina versus Kansas. A lot lined up, and you might recall Villanova beat Kansas, and then they beat North Carolina. And what I overlooked was that Villanova was right outside Philadelphia, because I was looking for a Philadelphia team, and I forgot that Villanova was right there. Had I known that, it would have been clear that it would have had to have been Villanova versus North Carolina, and then I might have seen that it was, Villanova all along. So I overlooked things. This year, again, I haven't invested a lot of time, but I know that there's these major Jesuit tributes going on. I know about this UCLA shooting. So there's a narrative here with the Catholic teams. If you don't think it's going to be UCLA, like somebody thinks it's going to be Kansas that follows my work. They're dead set on Kansas. So do the homework there. But I'm showing you what I know. There's something up with this being released on the 71st day of the year in light of all of this. In light of everything I showed you. I'm going to link all these blog posts down below in the description if you want to read over them, go over the information a second time. Let's go over the bracket real quick. Villanova's a 1 seed. They're a 1 seed. Typically, when you get down to the Final Four, there's a lot of 1s, 2s, 3s. Sometimes there was a bracket buster, but usually it's the top seeds. Villanova's a 1. They're expected to be there. Duke is in their bracket, though. Duke gets a lot of love. Where did Coach K go to school? Might be something to look up. But Villanova has the history with UCLA 45 years ago. They won the championship last year by the numbers. Very Catholic. Gonzaga, also a 1 seed. Not sure Gonzaga's ever been a 1 seed before. Be something to look into. But what Gonzaga's known for is losing before they should. They're usually one of the highest ranked smaller schools, powerful basketball program. But a lot of Catholic connections. I could see Gonzaga playing the number 2 Arizona in their bracket to advance to the Final Four because Arizona has the 84 connection. Only one other state has 84 gematria, and that's Arkansas. And remember, United States of America Some do 84 and 132. In case you caught that with Arkansas, the White House has 132 rooms. Did you know you have to be a Freemason to be in the White House? You got to be a Freemason. It has 147 windows. So many things coded 147 are Masonic. You got to be a Freemason to go to outer space. NASA established by Freemasons. You know, Ben Simmons, the number one pick of the NBA draft, who had his cousin die just days later. Ben Simmons, 42, 147, you know, just like Freemason. Freemasons running it, in case you're asking questions. But anyway, Gonzaga versus 84 Arizona, Jesuit 84. I think that's in the cards. Well, you got the Catholic school Notre Dame. Could they be the bracket buster for Gonzaga? Maybe you got a Notre Dame Arizona. But I don't know. When they put up that 28-3 next to Gonzaga, I saw it on ESPN plain as day. They put it up in huge font like they wanted people to see it. I said, wait a minute. That's the same number they just put up for the Super Bowl. You know, the 28-3 comeback. And oftentimes they drop clues like that, as I've documented many times over on this channel. Gonzaga would be going for their 25th win. That's interesting to start the tournament because 97 is the 25th prime. Trump equals 25. There's been a lot of 97, 25 tributes. We just saw the Patriots win the 97th season of the NFL with Super Bowl 51 in Tom Brady's 51st career game-winning drive on 2/5 to win the AFC, their 25th Super Bowl, and also to win Tom Brady his 25th playoff win. 97-25, those are numbers happening right now. Gonzaga could start it off with their 25th tournament win. I just want you to see Bill Belichick's 97, alphabetic order. 83 in reverse like football, you gotta love that. And 97 is the 25th prime, magic number right now. Trump was a big Patriots fan. Check this out. Pay attention to the ordinal and reverse ordinal. Patriots. Now watch Tom Brady. Next year is the 98th season of the NFL, and Eli Manning is Tom Brady's kryptonite. But if they do that, if they make that the Super Bowl in Minnesota for Super Bowl 52, I think Tom Brady will get his revenge because he could get his 6th Super Bowl in Minnesota, where Prince died in accordance with the Super Bowl. Prince said all we could go by in this world is prophecy. 52, he was 5'2". They opened up his house as a museum on October 6th. Was he really 5'2"? That's what they report him as, but Prince is known for saying all we could go by is prophecy, the Jehovah's Witness. So out in the Midwest, this is the hardest bracket to call. There's something weird going on with the Michigan plane crash story. You got Louisville that's been getting the, I said that freshman was going to win the Heisman. It was all synced up with Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali from Louisville. They got the freshman phenom, 19 years old with the same birthday as Muhammad Ali, playing for Louisville where Muhammad Ali grew up. 19, super important number in the Quran. Muhammad Ali got the 19-mile funeral procession in Louisville before the phenom's Heisman season. I predicted in 2014 Muhammad Ali would die at age 74 because Muhammad equals 74, like Jesus, like cross, like Messiah, like gospel, like Masonic, like Jewish, like occult, like killing, like Lucifer, used in the King James Bible, only that name. So anyway, this is a tough bracket right here. One of my followers for a year now, he found my work last year with the tournament. He got intrigued and he's been applying the study. He is dead set on Kansas. But you should know about him, he's a big Kansas fan too. But anyway, he could be right. He could be right. So anyway, tough bracket there, Midwest. In this side of the conference, though, is UCLA. And UCLA's coach, his birthday is 131 days from the championship this year. We were talking about 131 connecting to championships. UCLA's coach's birthday is 131 days away. We covered UCLA, the propaganda. Then again, where I've been wrong, Ohio State had that school shooting that was synced up by the numbers with the college football championship. It ended up being the same numbers in the championship game, but Ohio State wasn't there. They lost in the round prior by the numbers. Go back and see my work on the college championship for football. Got a lot of videos. Got tons of work on last year's college basketball championship. Mind-blowing stuff. Again, I talked about 47-74 big numbers on the game last year, and then it came down to a 74-74 tie, and they readjusted the clock to make it 4.7. There's so much more, Truth Seeker, so go back and check it out. See if I can drop a little bit more knowledge on you since we made it this far. Last year, the point guard for Villanova, he was playing in an NCAA record 144th game. We talked about how Jesuit order, April 4th, 44. UCLA shooting 144. This kid, he was in his 144th straight game in the championship on April 4th. He got the game-winning assist to Big Smooth, who hit the three to make it 77-74. They went down the court uncontested like a scripted play, got the nice clean pass off, the shot off, and boom. Big Smooth for the game winner for Villanova. The point guard, who was playing in his 144th straight game, also had the 108 name gematria. Remember, 108 ended up being a huge number in pro and collegiate sports. I showed how the baseball team, look at this, Truth Seeker. You think gematria is a joke? Baseball, 162. Major League Baseball, 162. 162 game season in Major League Baseball. Anyway, go back to that 54. 54. The team that won the baseball championship for college was Coastal Carolina. Don't overlook the 144. Their name was the Chanticleers. The Chanticleers. 108. And this happened just before the Cubs broke the 108-year drought of World Series in Chicago, where the tallest building's the 108-story Willis Tower. Notice that Chanticleers is 54, just like Coastal Carolina is, just like baseball is. Baseball's also 54 and reverse reduced. That's amazing. Major League's 108. I showed how before the playoffs began, the movie Major League foreshadowed that the World Series would be the Cubs versus the Indians. It was. I said why the Cubs would win it in Game 7 more than 3 months before they won it in Game 7. And in spring training, I said why they would win. Called pretty much every sports championship right in 2016. All from knowing this code. So anyway. I just noticed something for the first time. I didn't even know gematria when I named my blog, honestly. Wow, I didn't know that either. Free to Find Truth is 189. That Major League was 189. My dad's born on the 108th day of the year, and my dad raised me to be a baseball player. I'm a pretty good ball player. This is my dad's whole love right here, Major League Baseball. So I'm just sharing this part to say there's something organic about these numbers. Free to Find Truth. 216. That's the backhanded way of getting to 666. And I've explained, everywhere I live, the number 6 follows me around. Interesting. So anyway, it's Catholic, it's Jesuit heavy as always. The obvious Jesuit Catholic teams are the number 1 seeds, and also with all the UCLA hype going on, they got the team to be there. But double check my work. Again, I'm not watching the games. I don't know the players. I'm just going off what I've seen, what the repeated patterns are, what's possible. So you want to do the math? Down below, I'll link the Gematrinator calculator. There you can check dates. Measure from the birthdays of the coaches to the championship. Those are going to be there. That's the surest thing you can do. You can also measure from the star player of the team to the date of the championship. That's crucial, measuring the birthdays. Just like where we were talking about the relevance of 187 and Trump running for office, becoming the Jesuit president with the Jesuit Pope and all this. So wanted to drop a lot of knowledge here because I need to finish the book like I said. Want you guys to have something to hang on to. The tournament will be going on up until April. Hopefully I'll have the book finished right around then because I got to get it done. I'm up against my own deadline. So see you soon, Truth Seekers. Follow my blog. I'll still keep putting information on the blog, but the videos, I'm only going to be able to have time to do it if it's something earth-shattering. And I put out so many awesome videos just in the last month where I should have been putting more time into the book. just go back and watch those. I guarantee nobody's watched all those. Every video I put out is worth watching in the last month. I can assure you that. And really, if you go back to the beginning of my channel, I've tried to make every video worth it, knowledgeable, something new. So we'll be back soon, Truth Seekers, with the book. We're taking this movement to the next level. If somebody cracks the code, maybe I'll do a quick video updating on the college tournament. So I'll be looking in the comments. Join allfortruth.com. Allfortruth.com. That's the social media website for truth seekers. A lot of sports truth seekers there trying to crack the tournament right now. I'll link it down below with the gematria tools. You know what? For the first time, I'm going to do something else too, truth seeker. And if you can't help me out, it's okay. This isn't begging. I'm just being real. Sometimes things happen in life. I have been working my ass off, slaving away, trying to get this knowledge perfected, to get the message out, to do something in this world. And I'm dedicating as much time as I can to the project, doing what I got to do to maintain. And I've been doing this for over 3 years. I can only do this for so long. I have to pull strings to do this. And for my own well-being, you can only pull strings for so long. Anyway, I'm getting down to the breadcrumbs. I've had problems arise in my life that I did not ask for. You might have heard that on Christmas Eve, my house was hit by a drunk driver. Very bizarre incident. My house is still not repaired because I've been fighting with their insurance. I mean, it's amazing to me. There's a drunk driver report. There's all the damage. There's the well-written police report. I cannot get their insurance to pay out the full sum of the property cost to repair from all the damage from this large vehicle at a high speed running into my house. So their insurance, and I can't get a lawyer to help me. Lawyers are saying it might cost me more and end up even costing me more based on the situation. So anyway, I have this big chunk of change to overcome to get my house repaired. And I'm already low on income because I haven't been working and I'm already up against the gun. So I need to finish this book, get it out, hope it generates some revenue. This book is not about revenue at all. I'm going to make the price bare bones. I'm hoping it sells mass copies because it'll be inexpensive and well worth it. And the whole point is to get the word out. This has never been about money. This is about doing something to make this world better. Help people see things for what they are. Help sports fans even stop investing their emotional energy into something that's duping them, taking advantage of them. We need the manpower of the world to wake up, to the tyranny we're living under. The taxation without representation. The poison in the food. This is the stuff that matters. So anyway, that's what I'm dedicating my time to. That's what this is about. People like to mock my work and say it's just about sports scores. That's so far from the truth. It's a small percentage of what my work's about. My work's about waking people up, making this world better, uniting with truth and knowledge and real evidence to put in our hands to expose what's going on. This has been a mission. And I need to, re-jumpstart the mission. Otherwise, I have to switch things up. And I'll never disappear, but I might have to go back to working a job to pay the bills, like most people do. And I'll be like Kevin Spacey in American Beauty. You'll find me at a pizza shop or something. I have a master's degree, but I want my mental time, ability when I leave work to be able to dedicate to this work too. So I might have to, shorten up the operation, less blog posts, less video posts. But if I can get the book out there, it can sell, we can generate a revenue stream. This can also go the other way. I want to take this to the next level, hire people who are passionate about this work, start our own news reporting agency. Imagine a team of people doing what I'm doing, getting out information in a professional format, better presenters than myself. There's a lot of room for improvement here. But anyway, that's the goal. That's been the mission. I've been trying to get there. There's been a lot of pit stops along the way. There's been a lot of obstacles. If you've heard my story, a lot of things have happened to me. So anyway, I've never asked for personal donations for me. There's money that was raised for a campaign that built a website. That money's now being used to upgrade and maintain the website. That's all that money's for. None of that money is for me. All of that money is saved. That is safe. That will never be used for anything but that project. I have integrity. I've worked for free for over 3. I could have put ads on here and made money. This has never been about money. But I'm just saying, right now, the circumstance I find myself in is I have money problems at the moment because of what's going on with my house. And I have family members who are really mad at me because they see that I keep doing this work and they think I should already be making moves to get in better financial shape to take care of the problems. And those are reasonable points. I can't argue against that. The only reason that I don't do what they're saying is because, truly, this has been a mission to me. I don't want to come short on the mission. I feel like we're so close to hitting that critical mass, and we're trying to get there. So if you would like to help me out, if you would like to donate to me, and please, you know what would mean a lot to me is if just people donated $1, just to know that they're out there, they care, they're willing. A $1 donation, that's $1 million to me. So if you want to donate $1 to me, you can donate it through PayPal. You can also go look up my address. My address is out there because it's been put out there by people. But just send it to this email address, zachhubbard83@gmail.com. I'll link it in the description. That's how you can send money to me on PayPal. A $1 donation would mean a lot. I'm working hard for you guys. The book's coming out. It's going to be at a rock bottom price. Wanted to make this last post full of knowledge and ask the question that everybody's been pounding me for. And for all of you who've made money off my advice, $1 from you would mean even more, because I know a lot of people have made money from this knowledge. Until next time.